Good morning, everyone. We are in Avoca, Iowa today. We've made it to our 27th state, and we're very excited to be going to Des Moines today, and then after that to Iowa City. We'll be meeting with folks all over the state and connecting and asking questions. How does all this work? How do the caucuses happen? How frustrated are people that presidential candidates are constantly knocking on their door? I talked to one man and he told me about how he had a school of only 250 students, and yet one of the former presidents spoke at his graduation. He said if you haven't met a president and you live in Iowa, then you haven't walked out of your house. He said you just don't have to try very hard to meet them because they're everywhere. So we have to have this experience. We have to see what this is like. Went and talked with some folks last night, very interesting. You know, I really assumed, and it seems that I might be incorrect in this assumption, but I have to imagine that I would feel somewhat used that constantly presidential candidates are coming in and just infiltrating this state. But I have not found that. So it may be different as I get to the bigger cities, I don't know. But so far people have said, no, we welcome it, we understand the situation, we like talking to people, and I think it's really great. It speaks to, well, kind of what our interviewee said yesterday. People in Iowa and Nebraska and these connecting states, they have their feet on the ground. He says, I come from California and we have our heads in the sky. But Iowans, Nebraskans, everyone here in the heartland of this country have their feet on the ground. They recognize their duty to the country and the role that they play in the election. So, you know, I guess here it goes. One of the things that we've been trying to do beyond get the information from boots on the ground and the people here, better understanding the rules that are going to be coming for how to get on the primary ballots. There is usually a mix of signatures and money, or there is signatures only, or there's money only. And sometimes you have a choice. So it definitely behooves you to go with the money, because the cost of the physical and human cost of collecting signatures is actually rather extensive. It definitely is less money, but on the other hand, honestly, most people would rather give $1 than have to go and collect that many signatures. It's just unwieldy, and to do it around the nation is just it scales to a point where it's not reasonable. So it really has to be about the money, and I cringe at that. It goes against everything I believe. Getting on stage requires money, getting on the ballot requires money, and this isn't because it costs money to distribute. It's literally because this cycle of raising money is part of this long-term system. So I like to say you have to play by the rules until you get to the top, and then you can change them. But you can't change those rules entirely when you're at the beginning point or at the bottom, or just not somebody that people recognize initially. So it definitely is my goal to keep asking the hard questions. Why are we spending this much money? Why are we paying to get names on ballots? Why are we trying to raise money simply to get single-dollar donors? It doesn't seem logical in my mind. And I will tell you actually that I took action on this today. So we are working on some plans going forward. I'm very excited about some of them as we hit Denver and some of the other states. And what I want to do is use the money, the time, and experience that we have in the local areas to do some planning, to do some problem solving, to be thinking forward, to be strategic and tactical. That's a good use of money. Using money in order to get another $1, that's not a good use of money. Sharing the message, marketing, that's a good use of money, and that we're moving on as well. So I think there are reasons for raising money. I think there are good uses for them. And then there are those times where I recognize this is the system, but I am going to continue to ask the questions. We'll check in later today. We're going to be going to a museum, learning a little bit about the history of this area. I have not been to Iowa before. This is my first time. So I definitely want to learn as much as we can. See you all soon.